The Final Four of Hawaii High School Soccer descends upon YPO, and in Division I, it's the best of the ILH against the best of the OIA. Puna and Milillani in semifinal number 1. The ILH champs and the OIA runners-up coming your way. Well, a happy Aloha Friday, everybody, and we welcome you out to the YPO Peninsula Soccer Complex. Once again, host site of the Queens Medical Center Boys State Soccer Championships. 3-seeded Puna, the ILH champ, and Milillani, the runners-up from the OIA. A look at the road to this point on day 3 of the tournament. First round taking place on 3 separate islands over on Monday. Milillani having to come through the opening round 4-0 over Campbell and a 2-0 victory, 4-0 victory over second-seeded Kinkekalike yesterday. For Puna, a hard-fought win, 2-1 over Kalani to advance into this semifinal. Coming up later tonight in the nightcap, it will be Iolani and OIA champ Kapolei. And with that, we welcome you upstairs into the broadcast booth. Jordan Helly, Brent Murakami back with you. And Brent, when you looked at things early in the season, Milillani, Puna, 2 teams we expected to be playing for a spot in the title.
Yeah, for sure. And it's exciting to see both of them playing in the semifinals. Yeah,
and these 2 teams, as storied as the programs get when it comes to Hawaii High School boys soccer. As we look at our new City Nissan players to watch in this contest, well, it's all about the Liams. And first up for Milillani, actually, we'll go with Puna first. Liam Nichols Shipley. We got Liam McGehee on the other side for Milillani. Either way you slice it up, Brendan. We're talking about the Liams here.
That's right. For Milillani here, as we look at Liam McGehee, he's their central midfielder, just a junior, but he scored their 2 goals in the Kinkekalike quarterfinal match. Look for him to get on goals as well as set up players. So we'll see him combining in the midfield with Javon Cunningham.
Yeah, and on the other side, as we mentioned, for Puna, Liam Shipley, he's another guy. It's a pretty dynamic Puna attack, as it always sort of is. And they spread the wealth around, but this guy with his 4 goals scored this season brings them a nice balance.
Oh, yes. Liam Nichols Shipley is very good at what he does up top. He's second leading goal scorer, like you said, 4 goals. Yesterday was their first goal against Kalani in their quarterfinal match. Look for him to slip behind, looking for service balls as well as on the dribble.
Going to be a fun one, just match number 1 of our semifinal doubleheader. Puna and Milillani to get things started. When we come back, we'll get you the starters. And semifinal night underway in the Division I Boys State Soccer Tournament.
This Spectrum Network's presentation is sponsored by Zippies, your Hawaii Honda dealers, SHOPO, the State of Hawaii Police Officers Union, and Jack in the Box.
Back with you in YPO, a blustery Aloha Friday afternoon, semifinal number 1 in the Division I Boys State Soccer Playoffs. It is Puna, the number 3 seed in this tournament, and Milillani, the runner-up from the OIA. A look at our officials, as always, brought to you by SHOPO, Hawaii State Police Officers Union. Our referee this afternoon is Kiani Shirai, Don Natori, Christopher Lum. The assistant referees and our 4th official will be Steve Buchtal. 2 storied programs. Puna looking for their 21st state title. As we take a look at the Buff and Blue starters, brought to you by Zippies. Nick Shore, first-year starter in goal, taking over for Ian Withy Allen. Buda Nakasone, Saito, Daijo, and Kobashigawa in defense. Gusman and Dodge, always dangerous in attack. And then the midfielders to keep your eye on, Max Munier and Michael Williams, really the engine for the Buff and Blue. And Coach David Trifonovich. On the other side, 4 dynamic attackers. We talk about McGehee in the middle of the pitch. And then you got guys like Manhattan Fukunaga who can really blaze it, as well as Aiden Law. It's going to be interesting to see how they deploy him. We've seen him in defense. We've seen him up top as sort of that number 9, the target forward. Kekoa Kuloloia, one of the key center backs for Milillani in this matchup. And so, Brent, two teams who expect to be here year in and year out. Puna, the only team of the four remaining that were in this position last year, the only one of the four semifinalists from a year ago to make it back here, looking for their first state championship in a couple of years. And so, as you break this one down, a lot of dynamic attackers, a lot of guys who have played against each other, played with each other at the club level. How do you see this thing playing out?
Oh, I think we're in for a little bit of a treat tonight. This is a rematch of last year's quarterfinals where Puna outmatched Milillani 3-0. You know, it's a runaway score in terms of a Puna Milillani game. I think tonight we'll see it be a lot tighter. I would envision it being a one-goal game, whether it's a 2-1 or 1-0 game.
We'll see how the win factors in as well. Of course, at the end of the OYA regular season, we were out at Kaiser, and we had the wind tunnel there at Kaiser Stadium. And as you look at things from the vantage point, the wind will be at the back of the Buff and Blue to start this one. It has gusted at times, been pretty consistent. We'll see how it sort of plays out as the evening goes on. Third match of the day here at the main stadium. We saw Kapa'a and St. Louis book their tickets in the pair of Division II semifinals. We'll see the Warriors and Crusaders tomorrow at 5 o'clock on Spectrum, who will be in the Division I championship game. Puna in their all whites or Milillani in their all blacks with the gold numerals. Early on, we see Aiden Laws up top for Milillani. Puna some early possession.
And Jordan, we'll also think about what the rest is like for these two teams. Both opposite ends of the spectrum, where Milillani played 1-0, or at the 1 p.m. game against King Kaulike yesterday, winning 2-0. And then Puna had a long night after a long quarterfinal evening yesterday, and having to play Kalani in that last match that really got started at about 8:15. And so that 2-1 victory, and so seeing about how the rest, you know, in just about 14-15 hours, I mean, you know, and they're back at it again.
Here's Trade Buddha Nakasone, center back tandem, he and Kobe Saito. Could see some stretches throughout this match where both teams maybe enjoy a fair spell of the possession. Here's a nice diagonal ball as they play Gusman in behind. That one poked away and then popped out by Kuloloia.
Exact type of, same type of player where Dominic Gusman scored yesterday against Kalani, flying down on this right side of the field, dribbled in a few into that penalty area, and then ripped one to the far post. So he's looking for those runs, and they're looking to find him on the back door.
I see a lot of those penetrating balls, really either way. Of course, you got the likes of Aiden Laws for Milillani, guy they can really target. Then you've got the speedsters running underneath him, whether it's Noah Mock or Javon Cunningham. Falls to the feet of Laws. Little miss hit. Easy first involvement for Nick Shore. Starting keeper for Puna. Johnny Dodge finding it in the midfield. You see a lot of Dodge, a lot of Mounier sort of interchangeable, finding the ball at their feet, along with the likes of Dane Mizuno. Here is Dodge, a little touch out wide. Milillani trying to pin the Buff and Blue in deep a little bit. You saw Laws applying that high pressure. Nice job by the Buff and Blue getting out of it. Mounier wanted to play long.
Yeah, both teams going to have to be very strategic in the way they defend. Both teams having three central midfielders and trying to cut them out and play them away from them. You know, as both offenses want their central midfielders to get the ball. So defensively, it's about shielding it away from them and channeling them on one side of the field.
And that ball kind of played in between he and Noah Mock. We do see Jacob Prothero in there. So he continues to work his way back from injury. Nearly at full availability. He's been used more in the attack. Now back to One of his regular comfortable positions at center back, pushes Ishizaka out wide, the left back.
Yeah, and even Ishizaki was playing that holding midfielder for Milillani when we last saw them in the OIA finals. Now he's moved out to the left back, and Brandon Flores has moved into that holding position for Milillani. So a little bit of adjustments since we've seen them a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, Trojans got to feel pretty good about their chances as they've kind of got their full complement of guys. They can sort of play positionally how they've wanted to. Played on the edge of the area. Williams gives chase. Right there is Nick Gaston. Gaston, second year starting for Milillani. Gusman tried a little back heel, looking to combine with Munier. It'll be fun to watch Saito and Buda Nakasone. Those guys, not the tallest of center backs. Buda Nakasone goes 5'8", Saito 5'9". And then they got to match up with Aiden Laws. He goes 6'2". 6'3" or so, 190 pounds. Cunningham trying to bring it down off the chest. Finds its way over to Buda Nakasone now. Kobashigawa, the right back for Puna. Kobashigawa, a guy Coach Trivanovic has been pretty excited about. Said he's getting more involved in the attack. They like how he's picking his spots going forward. Said they were probably going to need a bit of him providing some support at key points throughout this tournament. We'll see how that plays out. As he moves forward. Mock the outside mid for Milillani. Those two kind of matched up. Here is Kobashigawa. Let his header out of play. Pretty ideal conditions. You got a little bit of the wind to factor in, but I don't think either team bothered too much. Nice cool afternoon here in Waipio. Looking for Williams. Kaloli's Karam's back off of Williams. It's going to be out for a Punahou throw. Gusman takes it quick. Bashigawa over to Dodge. Switch the attack. Switch the attack. Now Raiden Daijo, the left back. Able to hold things up, and then collision there in midfield. Noah Ungos entangled up with Liam Shipley. And
it's our first glimpse at Liam Shipley on the amount of speed that he has been able to cut in. And we'll see him do that throughout this match. If Milillani starts taking away the inside, he won't mind going down the wing as well.
So Shipley strong to win the foul there. And he'll stand over it. This one played in. Gaston off the short hop. In the end, handled it well. Quick throw outside to Mock.
Gaston does do well to get behind that ball because it takes a little bit of a skip. Aiden Laws was cutting across of it. I think he got called off by Gaston, but that ball did pick up some pace when it hit the turf.
Kobashigawa stepping up, wins it back for Punahou. Munier over to Dodge now. A nice ball looking for Shipley. Gaston off his line. And gets to it fairly comfortably.
And we'll see both goalkeepers pick balls up like that. As balls get penetrated through, both teams have very good central players, and they're going to look for any small gap that they can put a ball through. Goalkeepers are going to need to be picking up those longer services.
Punahou making some noise early on. Really created a true chance just yet, but put Milillani under pressure here early. Dodge comes to find it in midfield. As you mentioned it, Brandon McGeehee back the other way for Milillani. Now checking back is Williams, and you see him, right? He's got a strong willingness to come back into midfield to find the ball to link up. And we'll see Shipley sort of rotate back up top. A lot of interchangeable parts in attack for Punahou. Kuloloi has a glance off. Gussman finds it. He finishes. And an early score for Punahou. Buff and Blue knocking on the door, and in the 9th minute off a misplay. Gussman.
Kuloloi had a header to clear. It goes off of his head. It's not offsides in the original play. On the initial play, onside on the back door. And we said that about Gussman early on in the telecast. He did that last night as well, cutting, looking for those services, those longer balls. Does well to turn and hit and finish. A misplay by Kuloloi on the backfield for Milillani.
Gussman's second goal in as many nights, had a score in the 38th minute yesterday against Kalani in the quarterfinal. Ended up being the eventual winner for the Buff and Blue. Gussman athletic family. Both his sisters played at Punahou. Or his grandpa George is the Punahou, the St. Louis baseball coach, long time. Also Big 12 football official. So an early score for Punahou. We'll see how that changes the dynamic of things. Do you expect it to change much of the flow here early on?
Yeah, earlier in the first 10 minutes of the play, Milillani was being pretty conservative in the sense of defending, trying to section off the field. Now they're going to be forced a little bit to stretch their defense and to put higher pressure on the Punahou backfield, as Punahou is going to look to calm things down and spread out the field.
It was a good first touch by Gussman to set himself up on the left foot. Then able to finish it, really no chance for Gaston.
Yeah, and as Kuloloi gets up trying to block that ball, gets kind of played through the 5-hole there. And it's actually how Milillani scored yesterday. Liam McGee on the second goal actually made the goalkeeper. So a little bit of action back to them tonight.
So Laws able to win a corner here for Milillani. See if the Trojans can answer back quickly. First corner of the match. It'll be Javon Cunningham to provide the service. Prothero comes forward as well. You got two big targets. 6'3", 6'4" with he and Laws. Three bodies right around shore near the goal, including Kuloloi. That one played low to the near post, handled well, and cleared out. So Brent, obviously you do a fair amount of coaching, and it's one thing to give up an early goal. It's another to give one sort of self-inflicted, off a giveaway, off a misplay. And so does that change the message a little bit where, hey, maybe if we give up an early goal because something game plan-wise didn't work out versus, hey, we just missed a clearance there?
Yeah, and I think right now it's all about just refocusing. It's that reset button, knowing that there's still 70 minutes to play. So you never want to give up an early goal, especially to a team like Punahou. But there's a lot of time for Milillani to get back on track. They're just going to have to sort things out, and they've got to get on their team, you know, and rally them together. That is just one misplay.
Now Mounier with it in midfield, and he's dragged down. Brendan Flores really saw no other option. Basically just pulled Mounier down from behind. Now Mounier will stand over one about 35 yards out.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that he's not getting a card for that. Really no opportunity to reach for the ball at all, and essentially preventing opportunity for Punahou.
Mounier lining it up. Plays it direct. Kind of took a skip right about the penalty spot, but Gaston squarely behind it. And so, Brenda, on the other side of the coin for Punahou, you get the early goal. I'm sure the message from Coach Trivanovic and staff, hey, keep on the gas. If you get an opportunity to put another one away and really create some separation, they'd love to do that. I think sometimes the natural inclination is, hey, we're up a goal. Maybe we can kind of let ease up a little bit.
Yeah, and now they're going to be able to maybe relax a little bit in the sense spread out the field. You know, I think as you get into being up a goal, they're playing a little bit more calm. They can spread the ball using their backfield players, getting it back to their central midfielders, and getting up to their wide wingers.
A couple of substitutions for Puna. Jacob Moore comes on. He'll play in the midfield. And then Matt Fairfax, big 6'5" target, will come in and play that target forward. He's a goalkeeper by trade. Was a prolific goal scorer with the junior varsity, and he's kind of taken up that mantle with the varsity as well. And they love to play balls into him. He's got 4 goals on the season. As we mentioned, one of the backup goalkeepers.
Yeah, and he scored against Milillani in their, I think, their regular season matchup, which helped them late to tie the match. So he's been able to score some big goals himself coming off the bench.
We'll see if he can get involved into the attack. That slides Williams out wide right. So he'll play on the wing with Fairfax in up top. Buda Nakasone will play it to Fairfax. Checked back to it. Nice ball there by Buda Nakasone. Now Moore on it. Jacob Moore, the junior, looking for Williams. Couple of nice spins coming out is Kuloloia. First to it, but again, Milillani under pressure.
They're going to have to fight through this little bit of stretch where Puna has been able to outpossess them. They're really just scrambling to get the ball away from them, disrupting play, not really keeping the ball on offense for the Trojans.
Off the Williams throw, looking for Fairfax. First touch got away from him a little bit and then clipped the heels of Ishizaka. This one right back to Gaston. Misplayed off of Kobashi Gawa, and now an opportunity for Milillani to organize. Thorough will play it back through Gaston. Lobster just loft one into midfield. Williams finds it. Then he finds Buda Nakasone. Trading Buda Nakasone. Second year with the varsity. Football athlete as well for Punahou.
Yeah, and Punahou has been able to kind of play with the ball a little bit through their backfield players, their forward backs. Milillani really hasn't had that opportunity, and that's maybe a place where Milillani can look to calm things down. There's less pressure up there. Let them knock it to each other and spread out the field through the back versus getting the ball up the field too quickly. They're not able to keep control. They're not finding Aiden in that as that high target.
And play stopped as Milillani had a man down on the far sideline, and that may have been Fukunaga. Of course, we saw Manhattan Fukunaga in the OIA championship match against Kapolei come up with a leg injury in the second half. So not sure his level of fitness coming into this one, but he'll have to come off as Noah Mock comes back on. So it will be, well, they say it's a free kick here for Punahou. Muniang going to loft one in the direction of Fairfax. Prothero up high to win the header. And now Ungos couldn't find an outlet in Cunningham, but whistle came in, and it will be a free kick for the Trojans. Chance to push some numbers forward here for Milillani. Prothero going to opt to play it out of the back. Kuloloia over to Ishizaka. Now looking for Laws. Stepping in again is Buda Nakasone to win that challenge. Ball took a little bit of a funny hop away from Flores. Mounier therefore Moore making a run. Ball comes centrally the direction of Fairfax. Now McGeehee couldn't control. Now for another Punahou throw. Yeah, Brent, as you were talking about, every time Milillani seems to win the ball, they haven't been able to really maintain possession, and when they have, nothing has really come down of it.
Yeah, it really seems like they're turning and going, and they don't really have the numbers in the attack. You know, once they're winning possession of the ball, they're defending so much in this first half that they're not getting numbers up.
Another diagonal ball that skims off the head of Kuloloia. Williams was waiting to pounce. And be sure to show your support for Hawaii State Police Officers Union. Shopo, located on Hoy Street in Kalihi. Proceeds benefiting officers and their families statewide. Laws looking to hold things up. Did well to turn out of pressure. And coming back is Johnny Dodge. Second-year starter in midfield, the junior for Punahou. Looked like something developing there for Laws, but converged on quickly.
Here's where the Buff and Blue are doing a little bit better job than the Trojans are in playing, like I said, playing through their backs. They're getting the ball at their feet, playing where they're facing versus turning and going, and then trying to get numbers in the attack together and moving as a unit. They're not having to sprint up the field. They're kind of casually all going up together as the ball is moving.
Cunningham looking for McGeehee. Stays up ahead, but Kobe Saito, the honorable mention, all Hawaii and league selection in the ILH last year. Hey, coming up Memorial Day weekend, the Hawaii Noko'oi College ID Camp is back. May 25th through 27th. 30-plus mainland and local college coaches. Regional ODP program will be there. National Scouts as well. More information, you can get to the website. Nick Shore off the long throw, had to parry that away. Again, the website there, hawaiinoko'oicamp.com.
That ball was going straight to the crossbar, and Nick Shore has to just push it over the top.
Long throw from Ungos, and creating all kinds of problems there. Really the best opportunity Milillani has had. McGeehee now on the corner, play the in-swinger, looking for the near post. It'll be Saito first to it. And cleared out. Nick Shore needed to be big there. Hasn't been involved too much in the first 20 minutes. In 40 minutes, will take us to halftime here in high school competition. 80 minutes full time.
Yeah, and prior to that corner kick, we're 22 minutes into this match, and Cunningham for Milillani, their attacking central midfielder, was the first time he touched the ball. He's going to need to get on the ball a lot more if the Trojans want to rally back into this match.
McGeehee finds Cunningham. Opted to play for goal. It's Fukunaga leaking up. Right into the hands of Shore.
And that's the combination that's going to work. If they can find each other tonight, the Trojans will have opportunities. Yesterday, the first penalty kick, or the first goal for Milillani, came off of a penalty kick where Cunningham did some dribbling into the box.
Sean Donaldson, some fresh into the ball game, finding it on the left wing, overlapping run from Cunningham. That one lofted fairly comfortably into the hands of Shore. A little life here from the Trojans. Getting forward with a little more frequency. Fairfax looking for Williams. Tackled away by Kuloloia. Now Donaldson. Good touch by Cunningham. Wanted to switch the field. But Jacob Moore going to play it back for Kobe Saito. One of the Punahou midfielders. So it'll be another free kick here. That time Gussman operating on the left side now. Jacob Moore, the long service. Cleared out. It's Nakasone. Picked out more in midfield one time over to Fairfax. He's going to find Gussman. Milillani throwing some numbers behind the ball, but it's one away. Now McGeehee wants Cunningham. He's going to have to play it back to Prothero. Prothero under all kinds of pressure from Fairfax. Able to get out of it. Cunningham wanted it, but stepping in is Dodge. Dodge out wide to Fairfax. Can he run it down? A little too heavy. That'll be out for a Milillani goal kick.
Just Fairfax, just so big, getting in the way. You know, just putting pressure on the backfield for the Trojans.
Liam Shipley's going to come back on. He'll step in for Williams. Get a little breather. Shipley will now play on the right side. Gussman on the left. There is Gussman. He'll play it back for Daijo. Chance for Puna now to build out of the back. Kobashigawa closed down by Donaldson. Closed down well.
You know, what Punaho is doing is they're trying to find the right spots from their backfield players. They're really playing like a 4-5-1, almost acting like a 4-3-3 at times, but they've got 3 or 4 players pinning back the Trojan backline, and so there's a larger gap in that central midfield, and they're just trying to find the open man there, being able to get it to his feet and allow him to start the offense. And so they're being patient through the backfield.
Jackie Davis has come on for Milillani, as has Michael Murakami. A couple of the youngsters for Coach McGeehee. Here's Kobashigawa. Good composure by Gussman, finding it. Shielding off a defender, and now finds Shipley. Shipley couldn't track it down. Kololoia was looking to defend there. But strong composure by Gussman there in midfield. Yeah, I thought it was funny what Coach Trifunovic told you, Brent. You know, he said, okay, well, we play a 4-5-1. Really, we try to play like a 4-3-3. You want those midfielders to get up into the attack, particularly from the wings. But he said, don't tell the kids that, because otherwise they're not going to come back and defend if I keep telling them we're playing a 4-3-3.
Yeah, there's just a slight difference when you do have that mentality of playing 4-3-3. Oftentimes you see those wide wingers just kind of camping up top, and so being able to train them to get up and down that field so that they're playing a 4-3-3 in offense and maybe a 4-5-1 in defense.
Yeah, we see so many teams basically play some variation of that, right? They like to control the ball in the midfield. They'll load things up, 3 central midfielders, try to maintain possession. You've got those wingers and maybe one target guy up top, but that's sort of the in vogue way of playing we see nowadays.
Yeah, that's kind of the new trend. We've gone through some trends with the stopper sweeper, 4-4-2. We went to the flat back 4-4-2, and then now we're at the 4-3-3, and just kind of some variations of that 4-3-3.
We've seen a little bit of that. We've seen Pearl City, who lost a heartbreaker in overtime to Kapolei. They kind of play 4-2-3-1, kind of 2 holding midfielders as opposed to 2 attackers, kind of like Punaho does here with Dodge. 1v1 against Kololuia. Cuts it in on the left foot, took a deflection, falls to the feet of Fairfax, lays it back, and Gaston with the save. All right, Punaho threatening again. Gussman looking to put in a second.
Oh, just everybody converging on the ball as Fairfax, again, just so big, you know, being able to hold off players in there and finding Gassman on the back door.
Lost a little space to turn. Want to go out wide to Davis.
Hey, Johnny.
I couldn't find a championship match with Kapa'a, who gets there for the 2nd year in a row. Will look to avenge last season's loss to Kamehameha Hawaii. Sort of did that in the semifinals with a win over the Warriors earlier this afternoon, but they go stopper sweeper. different, if you will, in that sense. See Coach Kevin Cram and his Warriors from Kauai. So half of our championship doubleheader tomorrow set as we look at the D2 championship bracket, Kapa'a and St. Louis. Kapa'a ended up leading that one 3-0 before Kamehameha Hawaii got a goal late, and then St. Louis a goal late in the first half, standing up for Coach Sandri and the Crusaders. We'll be back into the state championship match, second time in the last 4 years. Davis pressuring against Daijo, got around another, and then Daijo tracking back. Good effort by Daijo after getting beat initially. Well, Davis tracking back now. Those two guys going at it 1v1. Now Puna will settle things down and connect. Now the long diagonal ball looking in the direction of Fairfax. Now at the feet of Saito. Nakasone and Saito knocking it back and forth.
Here's where there'll be no rush to go forward for Punahou, being up 1-0. You're going to force Milillani to come out and defend. Again, looking to thread the needle there.
Here's Gusman, and out came Gaston. They'll pull it back into the box. And they'll say he was bumped into either by Gusman or Fairfax. So Gaston had to be quick off his line. That's something you pointed out early, Brent. He's going to have to be very, very alert on these balls played through.
Yeah, Jacob Moore plays just a nice ball right through a tight space, but just showcases the type of players that we have been able to see that both the run and that space to play it and to execute it. It's one thing, oftentimes the players see somebody running and can't get them the ball. But in this case, just perfectly, timed run, good pace on the ball, and good challenge.
Yeah, Nick Gaston, we mentioned, second-year started with second team OIA West last year. He really hasn't been playing goalkeeper all that long. Sort of a converted keeper for the high school squad. As on comes Micheli Sobe for Milillani. 3 goals on the season. Milillani looking to pull one back to the 9th minute. Dom Gusman goal. As Punahou up 1-0.
Milillani has subbed quite a bit. I know yesterday in their quarterfinal game they were able to rest some players and get a lot of players into the match. But here, some nerves, maybe trying to change it up, trying to find that spark with some of the underclassmen, maybe players that don't necessarily get all that playing time, trying to make it the best. But it also can be, nerve-wracking for those players to come into a match again against Punahou in the semifinals being down 1-0.
At about the half-hour mark, Laws will get a breather. On comes Sai Kuboyama Hayashi, the speedster, football wide receiver standout. He'll play up top. Beaten to the ball that time, though, by Nakasone. It will be a Milillani throw. Cunningham wanted Flores to come up and take it, but he'll take it himself. Cunningham the long switch, looking for Ungos. Ungos to Davis, now back to Ungos, who comes forward. Wanted to play Kobayashi through, but it was defended well. And another Milillani throw. Ungos has been dangerous on these throughout the year. We saw that earlier in this half.
Yeah, and they were dangerous with their long throw-ins yesterday, getting a lot of opportunities, and that was something Coach Trevanovic for the Buff and Blue was concerned about the execution of Milillani and their set pieces.
Another long throw by Ungos and a good one, but won by Nakasone. As it goes up amongst the trees to head that one away. Ungos tracked it down, played it back in, but out comes the Buff and Blue. Shipley wanted Williams, and a 1v1 in behind Shipley that time. And again, it is Michael Williams who is up top for Puna coming on for Fairfax. Gets a rest. Davis again on the ball. A couple of step overs. Finds Kubayama Hayashi. Gonna look to hold it up. Wanted Cunningham.
You know, when Kubayama Hayashi is in the match, they're going to look to use his speed. They're really looking for balls behind and some of those longer services.
Hey, A&E Equipment Rentals is proud to support high school athletics as Hawaii's premier supplier of aerial lift equipment and forklifts, including tonight's game. A&E will take your work to new heights. Got Paul up top. He's got to brave the wind today.
Yes,
no easy task. Fukunaga is back in. Good to see that after he had to come off. Got a little bit of a knock earlier in the half. Well played back to Shore. Has to go on the ground. Back through Saito. Long ball up ahead. Collected by Moore. And Uncle Bashigawa will have to run this one down. Mounier in a little space. Goes wide for Shipley. There's two runners. The one coming through is Williams, but his touch just high, up and over the ball. Oh, an excellent ball in by Liam Shipley once again.
That's the best set we've seen so far. Just the passing from the backfield, connecting into the midfielders and then out wide. And then a good crossing ball in there for Williams.
Isobe challenged by Shipley. Shipley called for a little push in the back. So those two went up for the header. Now a chance here. About 5 minutes plus of the opening half. Milillani looking to punch one in late and level this thing going into halftime. McGeehee with that strong left boot.
It is going against the wind a bit, so the ball will hang up. It's about winning the first and then the knockdown.
Ball found its way to Kubayama Hayashi. And he couldn't do much with it.
Here's where the Trojans need to put the high pressure. I know they were dropping off originally, but lock Punahou in here. See if they can quickly counter.
Hey, look at the IBEW, BEW. Punahou, 20 HHSA boys soccer titles. That's more than all other OIA schools combined. They basically won just about half of the state championships. Milillani looking for title number 7 in their program's history. We'll see Iolani, another decorated program with their 9 state titles in semifinal number 2. They'll be taking on Kapolei. Could this be the breakthrough year for the Hurricanes? Really loaded semifinals this year with these 4 powerhouses. 38 minute.
I think the Wahoo schools wanted to make a little bit of a statement after last year being left out of the party, with Hawaii Prep and Baldwin being co-champions.
Yeah, last year we saw 3 neighbor island squads in the semifinals along with King Kekalike. And of course in Division 2 last year was Kamehameha Hawaii, winning their first state title. Kobe Saito. What composure by him. Sai Kubayama Hayashi all over him. But Saito able to bring it down, maintain possession, and find an outlet. Bashigawa cross. Looking for Gussman. Ran into Mock. Another free kick for Milillani, and they'll push everybody forward and have Gaston play this one up. final minutes of this opening half. All knocked up ahead. Williams gives chase. Kuloloia calmly over to Prothero. As Williams applying some one-man pressure to the back line of Milillani. Dodge brings it down off the chest. Nice little ball for Moore. Looking out wide. James Fujita out there. And some late-minute action. One of the JV call-ups of the successful junior varsity campaign for Puna. Got track speed. That's Fujita. And now on comes Gussman, the goal scorer.
Look for Punahou to get some sort of shot here right before the half. Any ball at midfield or popping out towards midfield, maybe one pass and looking to take a longer shot. Anything to put that dagger in, going up 2-0 into half.
Gussman's cross deflected by Mock. I believe they say out for a throw. And indeed it is. Looking at maybe a minute added on to the end of the half. Mounier. Now over to Shipley. Shipley defended well. And tracking back is Dodge. And it taken away by Flores. And now Flores may have tugged the jersey, maybe a little extra shove, and it will be shown a caution here. Our first of the match either way.
Yeah, and that's probably due to the repetitive fouls. I think that's number 2 or 3 on him. But giving away a set piece here late in the half. Milillani needs to get out of this one and get to the half down 1-0.
Tushizaka comes back on. Laws will as well. He'll help defend. Dodge will whip it in.
Oh!
Gets by everybody and tucks it in the far post. It was out in front, all the runners for Puna. Gaston saw it late. And it skips in just inside the post.
And that's the worst thing that could have happened to the Trojans. Johnny Dodge just puts it in a way, he's not shooting there. He's just putting it in a space where the Punahou front runners can just get a touch on it, a redirection. No Milillani players are tracking that ball. And Gaston loses kind of sight of it and buries it in the far post. Ends up being a good finish.
And what was nearly the final kick of the first half. Johnny Dodge doubling the buff and blue advantage at halftime here in semifinal number 1 of the D1 Boys State Soccer Tournament. Punahou 2, Milillani 0. Halftime in semifinal number 1, the Division 1 Boys State Soccer Tournament. Punahou, the number 3 seed in the tournament, a 2-goal advantage over OIA runner-up Milillani after 40 minutes of play. In that opening half, Milillani creating some chances sporadically. Never really threatened outside of the long throw from Ungos. Cunningham really involved in some of the more dynamic opportunities for Milillani. And then for Punahou, some early pressure paying off as a long ball that was misplayed in the back fell to the feet of Dom Gussman, and it wasn't missing from there. As Gussman really involved in quite a bit of the opportunities for Punahou, to be fair, in that opening half. And then off the set piece, Johnny Dodge curling one in, not necessarily looking for goal, but it found the back of the net. Kicking themselves over, but you got to give credit to Punahou. The Buff and Blues' relentless pressure really resulting in what is probably a pretty fair result here 40 minutes in. Yeah,
and Punahou is creating those chances, unlike what Milillani has done in this first half. You're going to take a little bit of luck to win in these tight games, and they've got a one lucky goal, I think, at the end of the first half that might seal the deal.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting first 40 minutes. We'll see if maybe the Trojans can flip the script in the second half. We'll take a look at the numbers when we return. More of halftime coming your way. Puna, the lead over Milillani at halftime here, state semifinals. Look at the halftime stats, as always, delivered by Pizza Hut. Puna 2-0 over Milillani at the break. And Brent, as you look at the numbers here, what stands out?
It's definitely, I think, the shots, but the possession, it might be a concern for Milillani. As the longer Puna has the ball, the less time the Trojans are going to have it. And Puna, it doesn't show it up on this graphic, but Puna has had more dangerous opportunities. The ball has been around their penalty area more than Milillani.
Yeah, one thing for Puna that was pretty evident, some of the wing play, right? Whether it was Shipley, whether it was Williams when he circled over to the wing, Gusman in particular. That was really, really something that they found successful in the first half.
Yeah, they're being pretty patient with the ball and then finding those slip-in runs and slip-in services when they do occur. And when they do, they've been very dangerous. They've gotten shots off or crosses off. How
did Milillani counter that in the second half? As they're obviously going to look to come back and pull a couple of goals.
Yeah, and I think the difficult part for Milillani is that they may have to stay with the four-back system for quite a while to make sure that Puna doesn't get their third goal in, and they just need to sort things off offensively. You know, I think when Cunningham started to get that ball in a 5-minute span, he got the ball 3 or 4 times, and there was a couple of dangerous opportunities for the Trojans. He's going to need to touch the ball a lot more in the second half.
Yeah, and for Milillani, set pieces have been important all season long, and particularly with the size with Laws and Prothero, whether it's free kicks, corner kicks, or some of these long throws that Ungos has been pretty dangerous on. You would get the feeling that they're going to have to cash in a couple of those.
Yeah, exactly, and they're going to need to create them. That's the one thing. You know, you can execute them, but you got to put yourself in a position to get those set pieces. So getting down the flanks, getting either crosses off or getting a corner kick, you know, or getting a long throw opportunity.
40 minutes down, 40 minutes to go, second half. Nothing advantage over Milillani, with a spot in the D1 title game on the line. Second half on the other side.
This Spectrum Network's presentation is sponsored by New City Nissan, Pizza Hut, and Taco Bell.
Ready for the start of the second half. Milillani, as always, good support in the stands.
That's Coach Jeff Yamamoto. Maybe he's watching us on TV as well. Longtime Milillani.
Legendary.
Head coach. 5 titles under his belt.
5 state titles, 14 OI championships. Jeff Yamamoto at the helm of this Milillani program. Of course, Stephen McGeehee. He's got 1 state title on his resume as well, 2015. Most recent time Milillani has raised the Koa Trophy.
Stephen McGee has been part of all of those state titles. He was under Jeff Yamamoto for those 5 previously.
So we'll see if Milillani can create some opportunities early on here in the second half. Puna up 2-0 as we get things going in the final 40. Here's Mounier finding Shipley. Again, down the flank, Shipley, great touch to get wide of Prothero, but he couldn't put it on frame.
And that's the start the Buff and Blue are looking for in this second half, starting where they left off in the first half. Again, Shipley being able to get behind, a good service into him, finding that space, looking for those 1-versus-1 opportunities, trying to get around the outside backs for Milillani.
And here is an opportunity for Milillani off a set piece to get some of those big bodies forward. And well, they're going to put everybody up. Gaston's going to come take the free kick at midfield. Prothero's up at the top of the 18. Laws, Kuloloia, all the big bodies. Remember Gaston, we mentioned field player by trade, and a converted to goalkeeper for the high school squad in the direction of Prothero. A little flick was deflected out, and it'll be a corner. Milillani an opportunity to keep those big bodies up in the area. As Nick Shore and the Buff and Blue will organize here defensively.
These are the opportunities that Milillani does need to cash in, like we talked about at halftime. They've got 2 in the first minute of play. They can
service in, and Shore strong-handed off of his line. And finds Dodge. He's got the second goal for Puna, tripped up.
And Shore does well there, just confident coming out here. Really the first time he's been tested, and numbers around him. Comes out confidently and holds on to that ball.
Ungos stepping forward, poking it away from Mounier, but he gets it right back. Mounier wrapping it up around McGeehee. Another free kick. And Milillani, obviously talked about at halftime, you're going to have Gaston take any of these set pieces near midfield. Kuloloia will venture forward. Prothero's going to stay back on this opportunity as Gaston pretty direct in the direction of Law. Shore, a punch, still loose. And finally Nick Shore able to pounce on it.
Aiden Laws gets in on that action.
Shore's throw off target. Ugos came to get it, but then Johnny Dodge wins it away. And Cunningham just at the right angle to prevent that one getting through to Nicholas Shipley. Another look at the long ball up ahead.
It's a good 60-yard ball there. And Shore doesn't hold on to that one and drops down onto Laws's head or back.
Shizaka with it. They play him a little more centrally to begin this second half.
A couple of misplays by the Buff and Blue on their back line, rushing to get it away, giving it to the Trojans. They weren't doing that in the first half. A little bit more pressure from the Trojans right away on transition when they're losing the ball.
Cunningham getting a little more involved. Used his speed to get around the corner that time. Another look at Shore as Laws got to it initially, had it hang up on the back, and then Shore able to find the second ball. Here's Cunningham again. Looking for Laws, took a deflection, might have been off the back of one of the Puna players, but it's but it's going to be out for a goal kick.
I thought that was going to be a corner. I think that ball goes off of Butter Nakasone.
Yeah, Laws. That big target in there for Milillani. Giving him some opportunities here early in the second half. So we see Jordan Fernandez begin this second half for Milillani on the right wing. Little misplay, but Shipley couldn't capitalize, and it'll be out for a Milillani throw. Little flick from Laws. Cunningham tried the quick turn. Now here's Laws. He'll earn a corner. Something positive here early on for Milillani. Down to 2 goals.
There it is, and Aiden has been active in the first 4 minutes of this second half. He's got a couple of good headers or challenges in that time, finding the ball at his feet.
It'll be McGeehee on the in-swinger, looking near post. Oh! A loss off the initial clearance.
A quick little deflection and found Laws' head.
And Milillani is right back in it. 46th minute. The deficit trimmed in half. Not sure how much Laws knew about it. Saito got to the initial ball. And Milillani able to make it 2-1. That there right at the end of the first half. The Johnny Dodge goal, the difference now. Gusman in the 9th minute. Dodge a couple minutes in the first half stoppage. Put Punahou up 2-0. It's played by Mock. Gusman finds it. It's out for it.
Set pieces in the first 5 minutes of the second half. You've got to be able to take advantage of those set pieces that you create. And now we've got a header cashed in for Laws off of a bad clearance from Punahou, just like Milillani had in the first half.
Dodge with the corner in. Fell to Nakasone, it looked like. But Gaston gets behind it. Here another look, and that clearance right off of Laws' head. And he'll take it.
That's right, it's about putting yourself in that position. He's not there, doesn't go in.
So 2-1. At about the 46th minute or so. Milillani right back into things. Shipley bumped getting to that one. It'll be a free kick for Punahou. Looks like it's going to be more. We'll have to play it short. Trayson Santos in at left back, getting forward. Here's a cross deep to the back post, and Gaston maybe just got a fingertip to it. And UCD Nissan is Hawaii's premier Nissan dealer and a proud sponsor of high school athletics. Visit them online at www.newcitynissan.com. New City Nissan in Kalihi. A nice ball by Santos there.
And that early goal in the second half really is going to change the dynamic of what happens and what was talked about at halftime.
On the switch, looking for Shipley, and he was run over by Ungos. This will be a free kick just outside the penalty area.
And Ungos needs to be careful too. He's been on a couple of tough tackles or a couple of fouls. I believe the next one for him would be shoulder caution.
20, 22 yards out. Munier standing over it. First team all Hawaii a year ago. Curl this one back post. Off the head of Shipley, but wide. Gaston the quick restart. Out to Mock. Trojans with one already in the half, looking for the second to level the score. Mock. The tackle of Gussman, and it's going to bring a whistle. Gussman slow to get up here. Drew some shouts from the Punahou bench. And clearly there. And
yeah, McGee does get the ball with his left foot, but that right foot is just coming down hard onto Gussman's back leg. And that's the foul, from behind. So
they'll tend to Gussman. Gussman, the opening goal of this semifinal. We'll take a look at some of the Enterprise scores around town. In the earlier action here at the main stadium, we saw the two Division II semifinals take place, and it was Kapa'a over Kamehameha Hawaii 3-1 in a Division I fifth place semifinal. Hawaii Prep big over Pearl City. They will meet King Kekalike tomorrow. 5-1 winner over Kalani. Na'ali and Hawaii Prep met in last year's state semifinals. They'll meet for fifth place here in 2019. And there you see the other D2 semifinal. St. Louis 1-0 over Kalaheo to advance to tomorrow's championship match. A couple of fifth place semifinals. Seabury Hall and Makualani in Division II will meet on the final day of the tournament. Long ball lofted in the direction of looked like Saito up ahead. It might have been Nakasone, and Gaston, though, strong off of his line. The quick punt. Laws just couldn't find the right bounce to bring it down. But here's Ungos marauding forward.
And I think as Gaston punted that ball penalty area, or that penalty line.
Trojans continue to apply that high pressure. Cunningham, there you see the speed. Whips one back post. Shore got one pop to it. And then collides with Mock that time. And a whistle came in, and I believe it's a foul. Or they're going to say outside the area here.
Yeah, I think initially everybody in the stadium thought that that was a foul on Shore as he fell down on no Mock there, going for the ball. Right at the edge of the penalty area, he handles the ball, so it'll be a handball on the edge of the 18.
Milillani continuing to apply the pressure here. Some alarm bells going off for the Buff and Blue. They'll have to defend once again.
And it all stemmed off of Javon Cunningham getting that ball down the flank, and a good service from him.
McGeehee stands over it just outside the 18. The big boys up front again for Milillani. Kuloloia, Prothero, Laws all standing on top of the 6. Looking near post. Kobe Saito got to it first for Punahou. It'll be another Milillani corner. Six in the box for Milillani. McGeehee, top of the area. Ball played in. Deflected. But Shore all over it.
And they decided to go with Jackie Davis serving that ball, more of an in-swinger, looking for a little deflection when the ball is coming inside versus an out-swinger looking for a little bit more power.
Found the head of Laws, but not enough power behind it. And Shore with the save. More life from the Trojan attack, though, here. The first 14.5 minutes of the second half. Fukunaga collides with Dodge that time. No harm, no foul. The ball remains in play. Prothero boots it up ahead. Saito. The direction of Williams, but Prothero up high to win it. Mounier has Williams. Trying to curl one back post, but comfortably wide for Gaston. Things have opened up here. First quarter hour of the second half.
A lot of it stemming from Milillani and them being a little bit more assertive on defense, being able to chase after those balls, where in the first half they're giving a little bit more time and space. That's definitely going to be a caution.
Yeah, and Ungos again catching Shipley from behind. And I think everybody in the building knew it was probably going to see yellow.
And that's difficult for Ungos to play with a yellow card if he re-enters into the match as a backfield player. Not wanting to get his second yellow or caution, and so he may go into tackles or plays a little bit softer, allowing the buff and blue front runners to get around him.
And Shipley has been everywhere for Puna. We've seen him on the right flank, on the left flank. We've seen him circulate up top, track back into the center of midfield. Now he'll go back over to the right. Here is Saito. Has been cemented into that center back spot. We saw him a little bit at outside back last year. High lofted ball. Shipley trying to get to the second ball now. Here's Mounier off the feed from Dodge. Strong header away. Laws looking to run this down. Collides with Nakasone. Cunningham. Fukunaga. Yeah, a little mishit there. More cheeky little touch to get around McGeehee. And then the next touch betrayed him a bit, and out for a Milillani throw. Jacob Moore, sort of that key central midfielder that comes off the bench. Just a little bit of the preseason back injury during the club season over the summer. This guy was getting his pilot's license. Pretty impressive stuff. Kaloloia, long clearance. Over is Nakasone. Some space here. McGeehee got to it. Wanted Fukunaga to make a little run off of that, but nowhere near it. And sure we'll just run it down.
Just the pace of play has just picked up a lot more in the second half. The feistiness, the physical play. Players aren't having the time and space like they did in the first half. Being a little bit more urgent, you know, a tighter game. Punahou really hasn't found the rhythm either in the second half like they did the first. So they may be a little bit on edge, trying to find the right pieces.
Fairfax will come back in up top. Daijo, the starting left back, also subs back in. Yeah, I think as a neutral, it's made for quite the entertaining first 19, 20 minutes or so of this second half. Chances created both ways. Kobashigawa wanted Fairfax strong to win that one. Now Cunningham. Mounier takes it away. Looking for more. First touch, nice cutback around Flores. And then Kuloloia had to intervene. Puna was looking for a corner kick. They say last touched by Moore. Just about an hour into this contest. More bodies hitting the floor. And will be a Puna free kick. Initially signaled the other way, and so Liam McGeehee, I think smartly tried to just play it quickly. It is pulled back. Rothero. Too much on it. Laws will just have to pressure Shore. Make him pick it up. So Brent, you said, hey, probably a one-goal game was maybe in the cards. We've gotten that an hour in. Any surprises?
No, I think for the fan standpoint, it's nice that Milillani got that goal early in the second half. As now it's a little bit, the pace is going to have to pick up. You know, if Punahou is sitting on a 2-0 lead, you know, they're definitely going to be taking their time. They'll be possessing through the backfield, trying to find some spaces. But now at this time, Punahou does need to take care of the ball, but they're also looking for that third goal to put the game away.
Nigel, nice little 1-2 with Dane Mizuno, but on the pass back to Daijo, a little too much pace on it, out of play. Ungos will come back on, along with Sean Donaldson. Michi Sobe also on for Milillani. Ungos, who's been dangerous on these throws, looking for Laws. Last win off of Puna. This is going to be another corner.
Yeah, but the Trojans need to commit everybody forward. At least keep everybody up there except for maybe one. The last trip down here on a corner was a goal, so they need to bring the pressure in on Shore.
McGeehee to play it in, trying to curl for the back post.
There it is.
Kuloloia
Gets one.
They had Laws waiting on top of the 6, drew some attention with him. And Kikoa Kuloloia waiting on the back post. Milillani has stormed back from the 2-goal deficit.
And this is what the Trojans needed to do. They needed to bring in the pressure on Shore. Because the last trip down, the Trojans scored on a corner kick. You know, there's just so much height and pressure that the Trojans would bring in. And Mounier there on that far post too, kind of ducks out of the way.
Kikoa Kuloloia, who just recently signed with Chaminade. Of course, his brother Isaiah playing there as well. Huge goal. And things are all square. Here 2 apiece. A little over a quarter hour remaining in this second half.
And now the momentum definitely swinging the Trojans' way. It's not that they had the run of play, but Punahou just has not been the same since the first half. They really haven't been able to connect here in the second half. So Milillani, it's about grinding out victories. It's not about playing the best soccer, but being able to stay into games, and they've been able to fight their way back to equalize the match. So right now it's going to be anybody's game.
Here's Williams. Boy, nearly put Punahou back ahead.
And Williams left unmarked, sitting 6 yards off of the end line. Ball in for Mounier. Oh. We've got 4 goals. We've got 3 off of set pieces. I'm assuming we'll see 1 off of the run of play.
And who will it come from? 65th minute. Two apiece. As you pointed out, Brent, last year in the quarterfinal round, it was 3-0 for Puna. When it got to Laws, Isobe was waiting on the far post. Prothero goes up to win it over Fairfax. Mounier finds the second ball. Here's Daijo, goes outside of the boot, looking for Shipley. Shipley wants Williams. Kuloloia the clearance. Cunningham, can he settle? He does. Has Isobe. But first to it, Johnny Dodge for Punahou. Dodge had that second goal for the Buff and Blue in first half stoppage time. First team ILH a year ago. Here's Cunningham. Just flicked that one back toward the 6. But nobody on the other end of it for Milillani.
Yeah, looking for somebody to trail behind him. Looking at that option, or just keeping that ball. He's much smaller than the Punahou backline. He's got 2 players on him. Trying to protect that ball in the penalty area, looking for a penalty kick.
McGeehee still on the ball. Cuts it back, got Cunningham. Cunningham asking for Isobe to check back to him. Did. The first touch was heavy. Prothero could not settle. Fairfax back to the Shipley. Then Noah Mock up high. Dodge. Some initial time to bring it down, but it crept up on the hand. Set pieces have been the recipe for Milillani in this second half.
Yeah, and it's been Milillani's best offense. It really has stemmed from their feisty defense. They're pressuring the ball. They're putting on Punahou under pressure quickly, not allowing them to settle the ball.
Gaston will take it again. Well, we'll get a little stoppage here as Noah Mock. Little gimpy, so he'll have to come off. Flores will come on in his stead. See if they position him at left back. Or comes back on for Punahou. Kaeo Basura also on for the first time here for Punahou. Ball still in the box. Shouts for a handball. We play on. Cunningham. Gonna look for Gaston. Good ball from Isobe. And another corner coming.
And this was a concern for Coach Trivanovic about defending the set pieces. They've given Milillani too many opportunities in the second half. I think it's close to their 5th or 6th corner of the half.
McGeehee and Cunningham going to talk it over near the corner flag. Laws, Kuloloia, Ishizaka, Prothero all waiting for it. Here's Laws. Did it take another deflection? It did. The 7th corner of the half coming for Milillani.
They've got Cunningham and McGee both on this corner. McGee's got a left foot, so a short option is also there too for a shot. If he can get around Cunningham, looks like they're going to look to bring it in again on shore.
Again, McGeehee looking back post. Falls to the feet of Isobe. Might have been Donaldson. It was Donaldson and another deflection.
Corner.
The 8th corner of the half for Milillani. Boy, the Trojans just threatening to knock the door down.
The Buff and Blues got to be strong here.
Again, McGeehee right on top of Shore. Isobe with the left foot, Shore off the line. And somehow Punahou survives that onslaught. And the Milillani barrage unable to give the Trojans the lead. Nakasone needed to get that right. He did, with Cunningham on running. And Kobashi Gawa late getting there, and another free kick for Milillani. Hey, the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Local 1186 is a proud supporter of high school athletics. Good luck to all the student athletes, and a big mahalo to all the coaches and other volunteers. Punaho's got all 11 behind the ball. 10 defending in front of Shore.
Punaho's got nothing on the far side of the field. Looking for an opportunity there on that near post, or near post run.
McGeehee and Cunningham again standing over it. It's Javon. Little chip. Looking for Ishizaka. Kobayashi able to clear. Kevin Kobashigawa. He and that back line have been under almost constant fire here in the second half.
Yeah, Punaho's got to take a deep breath. They've been able to get themselves, at least out of that, not giving up a third goal on all of those corners and set pieces they've given up. They've got 10 minutes to get it together. And for the Trojans, they just need to keep pressing, keep putting that ball, up the field, quickly looking for a quick shot or a quick cross. That's been their most successful plays all night.
Some space for Puna to transition here. Munier is going to play it back to Daijo. Once Fairfax checking into the midfield. This one will find its way to Shore. So we hit the 72nd minute. Again, 80 minutes full time at the high school level. This is the first of two Division I semifinals. This Aloha Friday from Waipio. Winner of this one will meet the winner of our second game coming your way on Spectrum. Kapolei and Iolani will take the field after the conclusion of this one. McGeehee lays it back. Ishizaka looking wide. Dennis Tadeo Gilbert, who's on for the first time in this contest, provides them a little quickness on the wing. Dodge all kinds of space in midfield. Wanted to go out wide, but Ungos, the timely intervention, but came out of the challenge a little gimpy, and he'll go down to the turf. As he and Ungos collide. It's collide.
Back up, White.
So they will tend to Jacob Moore here, and we mentioned early in the season dealing with a back injury, but he's been pretty integral in that Punahou midfield. So a chance for Moore to receive some treatment, and a chance for everybody else to kind of catch their breath, recollect, maybe get a little direction from the bench as well. Hey, Mike's Engraving and Trophies is the official trophy provider of Spectrum OC16 Sports. For all your special achievements, it's Mike's Engraving and Trophies, located behind Cutter Ford in Aiea. So we'll see a little bit of time added on to the end of this second half. The way this thing is going, it's even after Milillani was able to even the score, Brent. It's still been pretty stretched out, pretty wide open. Some space in that midfield for both teams to get up and down the pitch.
If anything, I think a goal is going to come off of a counter. It seems, players are committed for the ball, and they're trying to put as much pressure on the ball, and sometimes that can drag you out of position.
Hey, a look at the big board. Coming up later tonight, we mentioned semifinal number 2 at State Boys Soccer, Kapolei, Iolani. And then you can catch the girls' state basketball tournament over on Spectrum OC16, Kamehameha and Kalani in the first semifinal. That should be going on right now. And then Konawaina, the defending state champs, against top-seeded Iolani. That'll be the late semifinal from the stand, Sheriff Center. And then tomorrow night, it is Championship Saturday. In state girls basketball, Well, the state soccer starting at 5 o'clock on Spectrum OC16 and Spectrum XCast. Into the area, Laws up high to win the header. Michael Williams had it fall to him. Tried the quick shot after settling it off the chest.
And down the stretch in the game, it's all about winning those second balls. You know, we've got some big bodies trying to win that first header. But it's that ball that falls to the ground. Who's going to be there for a loose one to then play it or look for a shot?
Jackie Davis battling with Daijo that time. May have gone out of play. And they say it'll just be a throw in for Puna. Throw finds its way all the way to Mounier. Now dodge. First touch. A little too heavy. Isobe comes to win it away. Now Cunningham. Good ball to Laws, but he has a creep under the boot. And Puna clears it to safety. Looked like something promising there on the combination between Cunningham and Laws. But didn't quite add up. And now a giveaway. Daijo the quick throw. Mounier. Dodge. Back to Nakasone, pressured. And Gilbert Tadeo. And Puna will go all the way back to shore. Misplay. No second runner though, and Prothero will just drop it back to Gaston. Allow me and Milillani to regroup. Gaston going long ball off the head of Laws. Davis bothersome that time. Able to win the corner. Off a Saito. And maybe just deep enough for Ungos to toss one towards Laws in the penalty box. In the direction of Laws. Off his head. Davis up high, pinballed around. And Puna will clear. Davis still down behind the play. And the whistle will come to halt the action. Davis went up trying to win the second ball off the head of Laws. And I think about 3 bodies collided. And Davis came away the worst for it.
No, we're going to see that. You know, just to keep that ball in your team's possession, especially near the goal.
And there's an instance, Brenton, and you were pointing it out in some of the earlier matches today, but one of the high school rules, one of the NFHS rules, at any point, if play is stopped for any sort of injury, even if a player doesn't receive treatment, even if essentially they are okay, they do have to come off.
Yeah, and that, you know, can play a factor, you know, depending on the time of the injury or the stoppage. You know, whether it's a goalkeeper that goes down hard and has to come out of the game late.
Cunningham put it too tall. Yeah, we saw St. Louis have to go to their backup goalkeeper the final 2-3 minutes of that 1-0 victory over Kalaheo. Earlier action, the D2 semifinal. Crusaders were able to prevail. They'll take on Kapa'a tomorrow. You can see that one for the D2 title. And Shipley is going to be summoned back here.
It'll be a card, I think.
And he's going to be cautioned.
Tried to say too much after the foul. You know, referee was going to let him go. And then he said a few extra words after the foul. I think we've got 3 cautions on the night.
Yeah, first shown to a Punahou player. Santos is going to come on for Shipley. Usually see Santos at outside back. Could see him on the wing. Provide a little more stability to that Punahou defense. As again, they have thrown everybody forward. Gaston to serve it. High ball, about 12 yards out. Still bouncing around. Williams able to clear it. Shore off his line and pretty comfortable under that one. Quick throw out wide. But given away. McGeehee gets it back. Cunningham. Oh boy, Cunningham was in behind, and Buddha Nakasone had to get that one perfectly timed. He does it again. Some emergency defending by Puna.
Yeah, 2 clutch plays though. Stops the first one, and then again here, just putting his body where the ball is going to go instead of reaching and not clipping the Milillani attacker.
Nakasone's been big time here for Puna. Of course, his grandpa Eric, one of the legends in Hawaii soccer, playing in the old NASL. Milillani in no hurry here. So we hit stoppage time here in the second half. Does either team have a late winner?
We should see a few minutes of stoppage though. We had a few cautions in this half. We had 2 goals in this half as well, and a couple of injuries.
Kobashigawa gets forward, cuts middle, shot blocked by Prothero. Finds its way to Williams, lofts one inside. And Fairfax, the one-timer, goes wide. Boy, Punahou dormant for a while, and then quickly the Buff and Blue threatened to win it late.
Yeah, that's their best opportunity in this second half so far. Almost closed the door on the Trojans in extra time.
Mooney going to run after this one. Prothero heads it down. Punahou throw. Second minute of second half stoppage time. Dodge, some life still in those legs. Taken away by Ungos. Fernandez had to get caught up in between the legs. And
second goal in the first half, the end of it on a set piece. You've got to think there's not too much time left in the game here. There's a lot of space on that near side of the field.
Mounier. Ball headed down. Played back across. Nobody waiting though on the far post. Mounier, one time, cleared away. Only as far as Dodge. Williams on it. Weaving, cleared away. On it again. Blocked by Ishizaka. Mounier, the quick turn.
Oh.
And this is going to be a free kick for the Buff and Blue. Chaos in front of the Milillani goal.
I don't know if there's a leg that came in after, or it's a little bit of a, selling the play, but you've got to do whatever you need to at this time of the game. Giving yourself a great opportunity to finish off the game here, just about 26 yards away from the goal.
Mounier and Dodge stand over it. It's Mounier curling right into the hands of Gaston. I think cheers of relief from the Milillani fans. Could be looking upwards of 5-6 minutes added on to the end of this second half. Milillani will bring on another late substitution. It will be Isobe once again. Isobe coming on for Fernandez. Each team going pretty deep into their benches today, as you would imagine. Second game in as many days. But you pointed it out earlier, Brent. Milillani with about 6 hours added rest. They played the first quarterfinal yesterday. Puna played the last. Munier outside of the foot, trying to curl, for Williams. Kuloloia, a little nervous clearance. Castaneda just punch it away. Kobashigawa finds more. So that time it was Mizuno in midfield. Williams dispossessed. Trojans looking for loss, trying to turn off of it. The whistle comes in favor of the Buff and Blue.
And similar to the way we started the first half with Punahou giving away a lot of set pieces. Now here Milillani down this stretch in the added extra time here in the second half, giving away some set pieces that can hurt them.
Now the Buff and Blue will throw numbers forward. Shore plays it to Kobashigawa. Cunningham able to clear. Mizuno back into the mixer. Laws up high for the header. Dodge, time to settle. Has it on that favored left foot, but then poked away. Flores. So nobody in particular. And Saito trying to pick out Williams. Nearly had him. Again, Saito. Munier. Back over to Dodge. Munier some space on that far touchline. 3v3 in the area. Kuloloia strong to get to it first. McGeehee wants Laws. Nakasone strong to shield off Laws. Cramping up.
And Nakasone
drew the foul.
Nakasone does well there. And Laws let him off the hook. But Nakasone just doing an awesome job as their center back. He's bailed them out a couple of times already in this second half as that last defender.
Another look at it. And he knows Laws is on his back this entire time. Good first touch to steer it clear.
It almost looked like Nakasone was already going down and then sold the foul.
Yeah, you can see Nakasone, the grimace, cramping up in 6 different places, I think. So gingerly walk off, and of course, critical intervention there, but who knows when he'll be able to come back in. And without him, where does Punahou turn to?
It's a tough position to bring somebody off the bench. I would think they may put somebody in there that was already on the field.
And it will be Kaeo Mangbusuricum, the junior, who's come on, kind of spot duty in on the wing in this second half, but he's going to have to play along Saito at center back. We'll see how quickly he's tested. Cunningham, little time on the ball. As he's Sobe, but Daijo able to win it away. Gets clear. Good vision to spot Munier. Getting forward is Kobashigawa. Touch a little heavy and taken away. Now McGeehee with it. And he'll just boot one down towards the outer fields. Into YPO complex. 9th minute of stoppage here.
I was right about to say, I can't imagine that it was 9 minutes of stoppage time.
Of course, we saw a little time probably added on because of Nakasone being treated. And now Cunningham will gingerly make his way off. It's become a battle of attrition.
Yeah, and how will these factors, factor in if we were to get into an overtime period?
So Seth Usan will come on, with Cunningham exiting. We'll also see how much time is remaining in this second half before we do get into golden goal overtime. At this point, any goal is probably golden.
Yes.
Even if it comes at the end of this second half. Fairfax holds it up well. Cross looking for Daiju on the back post. Cleared away. Puna still with some bodies forward. Kololia the clearance. Now Dodge on the ball. Dodge will rip in the direction of Fairfax. Prothero wins it away. Now Santos in the air looking for Williams, and the whistle will go in favor of Milillani. I think everybody held their breath when they saw Williams hit the deck and a whistle come in. As we hit the 11th minute of second half stoppage, everybody will kind of catch their collective breath.
Yeah, and really at this time, as much as it's tied and we're probably going to look to play overtime, the coaches are probably wanting, you know, that overtime right now so the players can regroup. You know, like you mentioned earlier, any goal right now is going to be that golden goal. But if they got a minute to regroup between now and the overtime period.
Laws able to find Isobe. Could Milillani find a late winner? Isobe back post looking for Laws. It's going to stay in play. Laws still on the ball. Here's a touch. And tackled away, Kobashigawa. And that will take us to full time here. Two Punahou goals in the first half. A pair of Milillani tallies in the second. And after 80 minutes plus, golden goal extra time looms. State final berth on the line when we return. Well, it's 2-2. We had the golden goal extra time here in semifinal number 1 of the boys Division I state soccer tournament. It was 2-0 Punahou at halftime. The score, and a tale of two halves, if you will. Not that both teams over the final quarter of an hour plus. We got about 11 minutes of second half injury stoppage time added on. A wildly entertaining second half, Brent. And here we are. I think probably rightfully so, heading to overtime.
Yeah, and I think entertaining in the fact that it was, you know, a heated second half. You know, it could have been, you know, a slow second half if Punahou were to keep that lead to 0. I think both teams not playing the nice soccer that they want to, you know, but it's about grinding it out and you know, in these championship type of games, it's about who wants that ball more. You know, and I think really that's what has changed the game, because Milillani has turned up the heat a little bit defensively and has put more pressure on Punahou. And Liam McGee scored 2 goals yesterday. Now he has 2 assists. You know, and so let's see if Liam Shipley from Punahou can get in on the scoring action in overtime or not.
Yeah, and I think to your point, Brent, you know, so much we see these teams, particularly during the regular season, where they aren't necessarily playing back-to-back days, or they're not playing 3 matches in 4 days, the such, where, you know, you can play a little bit more of that free-flowing style of soccer. You can get creative and things like that. But when you get into these tournaments in particular, you got to play these matches in such quick succession. Sometimes it's just a grind, and you got to find ways to grind out results, and that's kind of where we are at this point.
Yeah, no one's going to complain. No one's going to complain walking off this field if they're on the winning team. Doesn't matter how ugly the game ended up being. It's about who scores that final goal.
Yeah, and we mentioned this, the first of 2 semifinals coming your way. This is the bottom half of the bracket, if you will. Milillani on Monday at home, able to defeat Campbell 4-0. 2-0 over King K. Kaulike, the number 2 seed in this tournament, yesterday afternoon for Milillani to punch their ticket into this semifinal. Puna a bye into the quarterfinal rounds as the ILH champion. The number 3 seeded Buff and Blue with a 2-1 victory over Kalani. And of course, there you see at the top of the screen, Iolani and Kapolei await the winner of this one. They're going to have to wait a little bit longer. Yeah, you see the Hurricanes, OIA champs, number 4 seed in this tournament.
And the last time that these two teams met in the state semifinals, Milillani won in 2015, 1-0, and that they went on to win the state title. And so, you know, is it, you know, a tale of last year where Puna was able to oust Milillani in the quarters 3-0? Or is it Milillani's turn? It's the farthest Milillani has been in the state tournament since 2015.
And so 2 guys, critically 1 for each squad, came off late in stoppage time at the second half to receive some treatment. Trayden Nakasone is back on at center back for Puna, number 2 in the white for the Buff and Blue. There's a long throw again from Ungos, and they're going to let that run. But for Milillani, Javon Cunningham, their dynamic attacking midfielder, he came off even after Nakasone, and he is not on the pitch to start this first of what could potentially be 2 golden goal overtime periods. Again, 2 10-minute extra sessions. A score would end it. If we remain level at 2 after the additional 20 minutes, we would head to a shootout. Munier drops it over to Mizuno. Daijo, an overlapping run coming from Kobashigawa, but it was knocked away, and now play's going to be stopped as Ungos came out of that challenge awkwardly. And he's going to have to come off at least momentarily because they stopped the match. You know, hobble toward the Milillani sideline. Ungos able to put a little more pressure on that ginger leg, and so now Noah Fujikane will come on. I believe that's the first time we've seen him. The freshman will be thrust into the state semifinal at outside back, trying to deal with all these Puna runners. That's one way to get towards Donaldson, defended by Santos. So with Puna having to go deep into their bench, they've got Santos at right back, Daijo at left outside mid. Daijo, who started the match at left back. Kobashigawa has moved over to left back to push Daijo forward. Milillani trying to find Laws. It's been a pretty good recipe in this second half, but unable to connect that time. And Laws trying to urge everybody else forward to try and pin Puna in deep.
And Milillani's got 2 freshmen on the field. Cunningham being off, you got Seth Usan in the center of midfield stepping in for him as well. So late in this match, in overtime, you've got 2 freshmen for the Trojans on the field.
Kobashigawa, good first touch. As Williams lays it off for Mizuno. Munier with some space. Donaldson tracking back. Now Nakasone. Remember, he came off with some cramps. We'll see how well he is moving out there. Laws able to win it back. Fighting off 1, 2, 3 guys. And they say fair challenge. Puna just clears it out of play. Laws. Still energy left in the tank, apparently.
Just an animal. I mean, just so strong on the ball. I believe he's taking his talents to Concordia next year.
Daijo working against the freshman Fujikane. Daijo cuts it back out wide. Looking for the far post, he put it off the bar. remains in play. Daijo tried some heroics again. Milillani looking to counter.
Oh, that's definitely a card. That's got to be a card. Preventing a counter there.
And Davis was brought down. And Mizuno will be cautioned. Boy, how about Daijo, though? Pushed a little further up the field, and he hits the post. Nearly wins it for Puna. So Mizuno will have to come off.
Yeah, and Daijo, you know, fell to his left foot, which he likes. Looking at that far post, just puts a little bit too much on it. Goes out wide.
Bangbu-Sarakam's going to come back on. He'll play right back, which pushes Santos into the center of midfield. Bangbu-Sarakam colliding with Donaldson, but no whistle. Kuloloia challenged by Williams. Skitters it back into the midfield. Another look at Daijo, nearly ending this thing.
Just puts a little bit too much on it and curls away from the goal. But after that play, they've switched to two freshmen. For the Trojans, they've put Usan as the right back, and Fujikane is now playing in the center.
Of course, you got Jackie Davis playing on that right wing. He's a sophomore. It's a whole lot of youth on that right side for Milillani. Again, numbers in abundance forward for Milillani. Gaston right at midfield.
And as much as pressure as Gaston and the Trojans have been able to put on the Punahou Buff and Blue on these set pieces, they've got to be careful of a counterattack as Williams is sitting at midfield. So if Shore is able to grab this one up, they should look for a quick counter, find Williams up top.
Looking for Laws, defended by Kobashi-Gawa. Finds its way out to McGehee.
And as Davis was getting off the field or off the ground, I think the ball found his hands for a handball.
And Punahou will be able to regroup here. Punahou squad that finished the regular season and their second round tournament, if you will. Little different format this year on the boys' side for the ILH. We're actually beaten by Kamehameha in that tournament. Came back and defeated Iolani 4-1 in a playoff for the overall championship. Of course, we'll see the Raiders in our second match, and Cunningham fit enough to come back on. That could be a big boost here for Milillani. Davis plays it back for Usan. Shizaka. Now Williams. Defended well by Prothero. Mounier trying to end it. Ninth minute. Here in extra time. 2 10-minute golden goal periods. You're in the state championships. Otherwise, we could be going to penalties. Ungos also back on for Milillani. Once again situated at right back. Laws trying to find it. McGehee wanted to flick it up ahead. Instead, it's to Mounier. Dodge. Good touch over to Williams. Spins out of trouble. Now Shipley. Liam Nichols Shipley. Outside of the foot. Dodge. He tries from distance as well. But not on frame.
Yeah, the Buff and Blue aren't able to get the numbers in the attack like they were in the first half. Where their front runners or their wingers are not able to get around the wide fullbacks or backs for the Trojans like they did in the first half. And so they need to find opportunities like that, looking for some of those through balls or playing their feet and looking for a 1-versus-1 dribble opportunity on the backs of Milillani.
Shipley looking to push it ahead. Our officials will confer, and it is indeed going to be a Milillani throw. But Nakasone, battling cramps late in the second half, is down once again. Came right about the final minute of this first overtime period. So once we get this restarted, I can't imagine there'll be much more to play before we flip the field.
Yeah, it's definitely about the fitness. You know, although they had that rest, Milillani played on Monday. They had a couple of days of rest before they played King Kekaulike yesterday, and Puna only came off of that one game yesterday against Kalani. You know, these players are playing at a high rate of pressure and speed. You know, in the intensity level, tackling, you know, running up and down the field, heading the ball, you know, the constant jumping after the ball. You know, that's where the cramps can build up.
And of course, whoever survives this one will be back at it tomorrow night in the state championship match, 7 o'clock. And what the wear and tear is come tomorrow night, we'll have to wait and see.
I don't think Nakasone is coming back into this match, you know, looking like that, going off the field for the second time. But he has definitely saved the Buff and Blue a few times late in the second half. That's for sure.
It worked out to be a free kick for Milillani. Gaston, good ball. Skipped over the head of Laws, though. And cleared away.
And all of these injuries, the referee is, you know, signaling them pretty quickly, and so the balls are always ending up being a free kick versus throw-ins, you know, and each team trying to take advantage of that.
Back to Ungos. Whipped in. Laws trying to get to it. It was Shore there first. Brave by Nick Shore.
Oh. As much as this, I mean, this is what we talked about, you know, as much as Nicholas able to make a good save and hold on to that ball, now he's going to have to come out, you know, of the game. And I would think they're probably going to go to Fairfax. Oh, and the referee called the first period of overtime here.
And so that will do it for the first golden goal period. Teams will flip sides. I'm sure just about everybody's going to get a little bit of treatment before they flip it over. 2-2. Each team looking for that late winner. Penalties looming on the horizon. Here are the boys' state soccer semifinals. Start of the second overtime period here in YPO. Semifinal number 1 of the Division I Boys State Soccer Championships. 90 minutes in. Puna led it 2-0 at halftime. Milillani 2 goals in the second half. After 80 minutes, it was 2-2. Scoreless in the first extra time session. So 10 more minutes. If neither team scores, again, it is golden goal. Sudden death. We would head to penalties.
Yeah, look for Cunningham on the Milillani side. They moved them up in a winger position. A little bit less defensive responsibility after he went off the field cramping in the second half.
Of course, that means the freshman, Seth Usan, will play in midfield and battle all of the...
They're bringing up keeper all the way up, 10 yards into the offensive half. He's got to get a shot or a goal kick here. No.
Gaston. Lofts one. Kuloloia. Couldn't find his head. Made its way to Dennis Gilbert Tadeo. But he puts it out for a goal kick. About 8.5 minutes. Do we head to a shootout? Good speed there. And Tadeo Gilbert, he wins the throw, and this will allow Ungos to trot over to the opposite side of the field. Take another long throw in.
And we've got to think, you know, how is that ankle affecting Nicholas Shore? Not coming out for that ball possibly. You know, allowing his back line, his defenders to take care of that.
And again, no Trader Buter Nakasone in there as well at center back. Ungos, deep throw. Towards the middle, and Kuloloia put it over the bar. That was Ishizaka. Oh boy, they had the bodies forward. And it fell to Ishizaka on a platter.
Just about 8 yards away. Just got under that ball and pumped it over the crossbar. But that ball drops right for Ishizaki. Oh, Puno's got to feel good about escaping there on another set piece that was misplayed.
Could have been the winner for Milillani. McGeehee lost it. Saito. Mounier wanted Shipley out there. Back to Mounier. It's Mizuno. Shipley. Now Mounier. Standing strong in midfield, Milillani. Usan able to win it away, but a throw in for the Buff middle. Out wide, Daijo. Cunningham back defensively. Showed a little burst there. Now it'll come to him. He'll boot one up ahead. Laws gets to the second ball. McGeehee in the direction of Gilbert Tadeo. Another chance for an Ungos long throw. Milillani a little more life here. Seemed to be a little quicker to some of these balls than Punahou late.
And the danger of committing lots of players forward out of the backfield for a set piece like this is those defenders got to track all the way back, and some of them have some heavy legs on the verge of cramping.
Ungos falls in the area, put wide. Milillani again. Ishizaki trying to end it. First we saw 2 goals in each half. 2 for Punahou, 2 for Milillani. First and second half respectively. Those both came from the Mackay end of the field. Both teams with the wind at their back when they scored their 2 goals. Although I wouldn't say it's really impacted the match much at all.
And you've got to think, before the overtime period is over, Michael Williams, you know, the leading goal scorer for the Buff and Blues, got to have some sort of shot. You know, he's really been kept quiet as far as opportunities on goal. the leading goal scorer for the Trojans. Aiden Laws has gotten on the scoreboard. But in big games like this, your leading goal scorers got to be scoring goals.
Michael Williams, 16 goals on the season, 6 assists as well. Liam Shipley also with 7 goals, second leading scorer. Both of them looking for a goal here in the state tournament. Teddy Brule on for the first time. Junior varsity call-up himself, a sophomore. Both coaches forced to go deep into their benches. Tadeo Gilbert trying to shield off. Instead, it's Mounier. Loloia, the header away. Here is Brule. Good ball out wide. Kobashi Gawa. Now Daijo. Buff and Blue possessing a little here. Space in the midfield. Fields. Step 2 by Usan. 97th minute. Three minutes. That's whatever's added on. Otherwise, we go to penalties. Daijo working against Ungos. Lays it off. Now Cunningham. Can Milillani counter? Laws trying to hold it up. Taken away. Shipley left alone on the back post, trying to settle it.
Oh, good defending there.
Mounier off the mark. Boy, how about some of these emergency defenders for Milillani? Brandon Flores, we've seen him in the midfield. We've seen him have to move to left back, and
it was as perfect as he could have played it. Anything else would have been a foul, or he would have missed that ball and Shipley would have connected. And Shipley scored on a little bit of a half volley last night. First goal against Kalani on that same goal with his left foot.
Laws right in midfield. Header back towards Fukunaga, and Laws, big collision. He's going to be cautioned. So he will have to come off.
No, it's just...
So Laws will have to exit. Kuboyama Hayashi back on. Laws basically went the entire way since halftime. Came off for the final 10 minutes of the opening half. So we'll see how quickly they get him back in there. He's waiting at midfield to check back on next opportunity. One place they may miss him is in defense. This one falls, but cleared away. Only as far as Williams. Flag stays down. Brule laying it back for Kobashigawa. Williams. Mounier trying to find it back post, and Gaston will let it run. Final minute of this second overtime. Laws will check back on. We have played the full 100. Ooh. 80 minutes of full time, 2 overtime periods. Penalties looming. We'll see how much time is added on. Does anybody have a late winner here?
It's about doing your job. The defenders making sure they're buckled down, not giving away any easy balls.
Mounier still forward. Here's Fairfax. Picks out Shipley. Shipley will rip. Oh, and saved by Gaston. It was well struck by Liam Shipley. Was at a good height for Gaston.
Wow.
And he does his job.
Gaston makes a huge save. And a good hit by Shipley. That thing's going to the far post, upper V. And here, Milillani needs to get out of this corner.
It's cleared away. The whistle comes. And the Gaston save sends us to penalties. I'm sure Shipley liked his odds coming off the boot. It's at a good height for Gaston. Parries it away. They're able to fend off the corner. So 100 minutes plus. Each team with a pair of goals. Now it comes down to kicks from the spot.
Whew.
You give either team an edge as we head to penalties.
You know, both teams have quality goalkeepers. You know, it's about being able to hit that ball, 12 yards away. But you've got players that have been cramping. Players that have played the 100 minutes and having to step up and put that ball away. A lot of things going through their mind. They're exhausted a little bit. They're nervous. You can't replicate a penalty shot, in penalty kicks in a state semifinal match. The winner goes to the finals. You can't replicate that in practice as much as both of these teams are practicing them.
This is odd.
So we go to penalties. We'll see which end of the field will conduct the shootout. Always sort of a cruel way to find a winner, but after 100 minutes, each team sort of hanging on for dear life. We'll see who the shooters are. Nick Shore, who a little bit of a leg knock, if you will, end of the first extra time session. We'll see what his mobility is like. Gaston, terrific athlete. You saw it there on that last save. It's always sort of unpredictable, right? I mean, even some of the best goalkeepers in the world aren't necessarily the best at stopping penalties. And then you got some guys who just have a knack.
Yeah, and some of the best leading goal scorers not step up in the first five. It's very different. It's only you and the goalkeeper. It's a stationary ball. It's a little bit of a mind game, especially these players outside of high school. Some of them are teammates with one another, or they've played against one another and have been in penalty kicks before. So you're thinking about all those things as the kicker.
To the captains for both squads, Prothero, Laws for Milillani, Williams, Mounier for Puna.
And there, the coin toss, very important. You want to be that team that's kicking first. To put that pressure, you're thinking that you're going to put away the first one and put that pressure on the other team to finish, to stay alive. And in a shootout, you're asking your goalkeeper to make one save. And you're thinking that your shooters will go ahead and finish. So it's all about what keeper can make that one save and win 5-4.
Of course, Milillani, their lone loss since the start of league play in the OIA championship match. They felt, though, even after that loss, they were able to play in a final, get the experience of that for a program that's used to playing in championship matches. Felt they had as good a shot as anybody at getting to the state final. They put themselves in position here, now needing to win a shootout for Puna. Mentioned their only loss late in the season as well We're able to bounce back, defeat Milillani to win the ILH. It's a veteran group led by guys like Max Mounier. Just basically talking about getting better every week. So we'll head to the penalty shootout. Gaston and Shore will be in goal. Of course, clock turned off for this. 5 shooters apiece.
And it looks like Puna shooting first.
Kicks from the spot to determine who advances. 2-2. After regulation, 2-2 after the 2 golden goal periods. And it will be Matt Fairfax who will step to the penalty spot first. Matt Fairfax, 4 goals on the season. We mentioned one of the backup goalkeepers for this group. He's an aspiring broadcaster, has worked on a lot of those Puna Vision broadcasts. And come take our job one day. Well on his way to doing so. Terrific young man. Chance to give Puna the early advantage here in this shootout. Gaston for Milillani in goal. Fairfax, well taken. Side netting. Not bad for a goalkeeper. Puna strikes first.
He's feeling good about that because Gaston was pretty close to that one. Well struck with a lot of pace.
And up first for Milillani. When we talk about goalkeepers, it's Gaston. Another guy who's great with his feet. Saw him in a lot of those free kicks. Mano a mano with Shore. Gaston hits the bar.
The thinking about putting a goalkeeper in there on any type of penalty kick shootout is about, you miss a goal here, now get yourself out of it and make the next save.
Up next, maestro in the midfield, Max Mounier. He's a guy who's played far and wide during his soccer career. He's trained in LA and Mexico with Chivas. He's played internationally. Chance to put Puna further ahead. Well taken. Had Gaston going the wrong way. Puna good on their first 2.
And he sees Gaston moving a little bit and just tucks it away on the
Terrific kicker for the football team. 2 goals yesterday against Kinke Kaulike to help Milillani advance to this semifinal match.
And one was a penalty kick. He went to his left. Let's see if he goes the same direction as he did yesterday.
And we'll see if Shore maybe has a little bit of that scouting report. Oh, went to his right this time. Easily tucks that away. Much needed for Milillani.
And maybe in the scouting report, Shore decides to go to his right, where McGee kicked it yesterday.
Each team 2 shooters in. Puna hold the 2-1 advantage here in the shootout. Now Johnny Dodge, young man who grew up in Southern California, son of a retired Coast Guard veteran. First team ILH a year ago. Looking to put Puna 3 for 3. Johnny Dodge, calm as can be. He had the 2nd goal for Puna today. Gaston really no chance. Tucked it under the bar. Okay, cool. Kuloloia. He had the tying goal for Milillani. The senior central defender. Going to keep Milillani in this. Short run up. Slides it in.
where Gaston needs to make a save on the next shooter, but Kululuya does well. Reads Shores, taking a few steps to his right and just tucks it away. Not with a lot of pace.
So now Liam Nichols Shipley. Good triple jumper. Outstanding club player. The run up. Powers that one in. So he goes to his left. And now Punahou on the brink. A miss here by Milillani. Or if Punahou can convert their next opportunity, and the Buff and Blue will be off to the final.
And it's on the foot of the senior captain Prothero, who is out for a majority of this season due to an injury. He was able to bounce back in the playoffs. But for him to push on the Milillani hopes of making it to the finals, he needs to convert this one.
Must have for Jake Prothero. Skipper for this Milillani squad. And he keeps the Trojans championship hopes alive. And now Nick Gaston takes center stage, needing to deny Michael Williams, one of the most prolific goal scorers in the state this year, a chance to put Punahou through.
And we talked about him not really getting that opportunity today. Would this seal the deal for them, or would Gaston able to dig himself out of that missed PK? He's the first shooter. Can he make this save?
Here's Williams to win it for Punahou. Williams converts, and the Buff and Blue, boom, perfect in the shootout. Looking to cap a storybook season. They'll play for the title tomorrow night.
And Gaston's got to keep his head up. You know, he made that huge save at the end of the second overtime to push us into penalty kicks. He's been on their set pieces, you know, from half field, you know, and it's just unfortunate. You know, it goes off of the crossbar.
Punahou finds a way. The lone difference. Williams so calm. Off the inside of the foot. Able to convert, cartwheel to boot. And the Buff and Blue pushed to the limit by the OIA runner-up. For the number 3 seed in this tournament, the ILH champs will play for title number 21 tomorrow night. And Brent, this a match that I think entertained just about from the start, right? Puna was so good in the first half, and then Milillani answered right back in the second half, fought back from the 2-goal deficit. We saw a number of chances, particularly once the score was leveled at 2. We saw a battle of attrition, both teams, guys dropping, cramping, picking up some injuries here and there. But Punahou and the 5 that stepped up there during the shootout, 5 for 5. Excellent composure from Coach Trifanovich's guys.
Yeah, and Gaston was there on a couple of them. You know, just a fingertip away from getting his hands on them. But definitely a tale of two halves. You know, the first half, obviously, Punahou well in control. They scored late in the first half to make it 2-0, and we thought the game was done there. And Milillani quickly responds in the second half, in the first 3 minutes to get back into the match. And so, you know, and I think Milillani had more of the pressure in the second half. I wouldn't say the run of play, but definitely had Punahou on the ropes. And then Punahou was able to kind of get back into the match, a couple of good opportunities.
Our impact players in this contest for Milillani, Aiden Laws. He basically went the distance after halftime, and he was such a big presence, obviously creating a couple chances for Milillani. What he was able to do to get that first goal, and then, of course, how big he was defensively as well.
Yeah, you know, we knew the leading goal scorer was going to get a couple of good chances, and he put himself in a good position to do so, and he got that first goal, you know, off of the header.
And the impact player for the Buff and Blue, Dominic Gussman, that goal early on sort of set the tone for Puna.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. I mean, a good goal off the flank and a good finish.
And joining us now on the headset, Dominic Gussman. And Dom, congratulations on the win. That was quite the battle of attrition. What was the mindset going into the penalty shootout there?
Yeah, you know, we've been practicing for a while. Our guys kept their composure, and that was the main thing that helped us win that. Very, very nerve-wracking for me on the side, but it was very exciting to get the win.
And talk us through that goal. It was early on. We got to go way back, all the way to the first 10 minutes of this contest. But some early pressure by you guys, and then you were able to find the goal to get the scoring started for your squad.
Yeah, it was a great ball into the box. You know, I was just fortunate enough to be there, be on the end of it. You know, any of our forwards could have finished it, but I was just lucky to be there.
Dom, thanks for jumping on the headset with us. Go rest up. I know you guys got some treatment coming your way. We'll see you guys tomorrow night. Best of luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Dominic Gussman, our impact player in this contest, got the opening goal for Puna. They advance on penalties over Milillani. The Buff and Blue advance to tomorrow's championship match. They'll await the winner of our second semifinal coming your way when we rejoin you in about 15 minutes or so. It'll be Iolani and Kapolei coming up in semifinal number 2. For Brett Murakami, the rest of the hardworking folks here at Spectrum, Jordan Helly signing off. We'll see you back for semifinal number 2. But in the first, it's Puna off to the state title match.